In a vast hall filled with colorful banners and strange lights, representatives from many alien worlds gathered. They were all waiting for the Galactic Council meeting to start. The atmosphere was tense, with whispers and nervous glances exchanged among the crowd. At the front stood an alien ambassador named Zolath, a tall figure with bright green skin and large, expressive eyes. Zolath was about to deliver a speech that would change everything. Zolath took a deep breath and stepped forward, his heart racing. "Honorable members of the council," he began, his voice echoing in the large chamber. "Today I stand before you to speak of a grave threat. We must consider carefully how we deal with humanity." Some council members chuckled at his words. A particularly arrogant alien named Kralix leaned back in his chair, smirking. "Humans? They are primitive creatures. They barely understand the universe. We could crush them easily," he boasted, drawing laughter from his supporters. But Zolath stood firm, undeterred by their mockery. Zolath raised his hand for silence. "I understand your disbelief," he said, his tone serious. "But I have studied humanity. They are not as weak as they seem. Their history is filled with stories of bravery and strength. We must not underestimate them." As Zolath spoke, he could see a few council members listening intently. He continued, "In the past, many who underestimated humans faced terrible consequences. They are resourceful, and they fight fiercely when threatened. They have a spirit that cannot be easily broken." The room fell quiet as his words sunk in. The laughter faded, replaced by a sense of unease. Zolath recalled tales of how humans had turned the tides in battles, surprising even the strongest foes. He thought of how a small group of humans once defeated a much larger alien army through clever tactics and teamwork. Kralix scoffed again, but this time his voice was less certain. "What if they do fight back? We have superior technology. Our ships can outmatch theirs easily," he argued, but Zolath could see that the confidence in his voice was waning. "I do not doubt our technology," Zolath replied calmly. "But we must remember that humans have an unpredictable nature. They fight with a passion that we do not fully understand. They have allies among the stars, and if we provoke them, we may find ourselves in a war we cannot win." The council members shifted in their seats, exchanging nervous glances. Zolath sensed the mood changing, but he needed to make them understand the urgency. "Imagine a galaxy where humans unite against us. They could rally other species to their cause. They have the ability to inspire, to lead. We must be cautious." A murmur of agreement rippled through some corners of the hall. Zolath pressed on, his voice rising with passion. "We cannot ignore their capabilities. If we push them into a corner, we might unleash a storm. We should seek peace and understanding instead of conflict." Some of the council members began to nod, realizing the truth in Zolath's words. The once boisterous atmosphere now felt heavy with tension. Kralix, sensing the shift, frowned. "What do you propose, then? That we turn our backs on our plans? That we let them walk all over us?" Zolath met Kralix's gaze with calm resolve. "Not at all. I propose we open a dialogue with humanity. We must understand their intentions and show them that we seek cooperation, not war. We should extend our hand instead of our weapons." The council was quiet for a moment, and then a wise elder, known for his fair judgment, spoke up. "Ambassador Zolath makes a valid point. Perhaps we should consider a mission to Earth. Let us gather more information before rushing into battle." Zolath felt a surge of hope. "Yes, a peaceful approach may save countless lives. Together, we can find a way to coexist." As the council members began to discuss Zolath's proposal, he knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but he was determined to protect humanity and prevent a war that could destroy them all. Days passed after Ambassador Zolath's warning, but the tension in the Galactic Council only grew stronger. The council members could not agree on how to deal with humanity. Some believed it was time to prepare for war, while others still felt the ambassador's words had merit. This division caused worry among many, especially among the alien races who had once lived in peace with Earth. Meanwhile, on Earth, a group of humans had noticed strange movements in space. Ships from various alien worlds were gathering near their borders. News of the ambassador's warning had reached Earth, sparking both fear and anger among the population. The government quickly mobilized their military, preparing for any potential threat. Humans had always been resourceful, and they were determined to protect their home. In a dark room filled with monitors and screens, General Carter watched the news unfold. His brow was furrowed with concern. "We can't just sit here and wait for them to attack us," he said, addressing his team. "We need to show them that we are not afraid. We have advanced technology and we know how to use it." His team nodded in agreement. The general was a man of action, and he believed that the best defense was a strong offense. He ordered his forces to conduct drills, preparing them for any possible conflict. The military quickly began to showcase their newest weapons and strategies, displaying strength that would deter any would-be attackers. Back in the Galactic Council, word of the humans' military readiness reached the ears of the representatives. Many of them exchanged worried glances, while others felt it was a sign of weakness. Krelix, still confident in his race's superiority, scoffed at the news. "Look at them! They are acting out of fear. We have nothing to worry about. If they want to fight, let them come," he declared, his voice booming in the hall. However, Zolath felt a knot of anxiety tighten in his stomach. "This is exactly what I feared," he thought. "If we continue to provoke them, they will fight back. We need to find a way to calm the situation before it spirals out of control." Zolath arranged a secret meeting with a few sympathetic council members, hoping to brainstorm ways to de-escalate the tension. He gathered with Elder Varan, a respected member known for his wisdom, and Lyra, a representative from a peaceful planet. "We must act quickly," Zolath urged. "The more we push them, the more likely they will unite against us. We need to communicate, not intimidate." Elder Varan nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps we could send a diplomatic envoy to Earth. We could present gifts and show them that we mean no harm." Lyra added, "It's essential to reassure them. They need to know we are willing to listen and learn from them." As they discussed their plan, news arrived that a small alien fleet had crossed the boundary into human territory. Panic erupted in the council. Krelix immediately seized the opportunity. "See, this is proof that humans are a threat. We must strike first before they strike us," he shouted, rallying support from his followers. Zolath felt his heart race. "No, this is a mistake," he cried out, trying to regain control of the situation. "If we attack, we will only confirm their fears and push them into war. We need to stop the fleet and make peace before it's too late." Despite Zolath's pleas, Krelix and his allies continued to push for a show of force. The council members were split, with some supporting Zolath's approach and others siding with Krelix. The debate raged on, growing more heated with every passing moment. Back on Earth, the news of the alien fleet reached General Carter. "This is it. We need to act now," he declared to his commanders. "Prepare our forces for engagement. We will not let them invade our home." The military sprang into action, readying ships and weapons. As both sides prepared for what seemed like an inevitable conflict, Zolath knew that time was running out. He felt a growing sense of dread as he realized that if he did not find a way to intervene soon, the galaxy might plunge into a war that no one would win. He gathered his courage, determined to make one last attempt to prevent disaster. With a heavy heart, Zolath left the council chamber, knowing he had to find a way to save both humans and aliens from themselves before it was too late. The stakes had never been higher, and he could feel the weight of the galaxy resting on his shoulders. Tension filled the air as the small alien fleet crossed into human territory. On Earth, General Carter and his commanders were ready for anything. They monitored the situation closely, knowing that any wrong move could lead to disaster. The military was on high alert, and every soldier prepared for battle. The fate of humanity hung in the balance. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council, Ambassador Zolath paced back and forth in his chambers, worry etched on his face. He had watched in horror as the fleet had crossed the line into human space. He felt a heavy burden of guilt. He knew that if war broke out, many lives would be lost. The council was divided, and he feared they would choose the path of violence. As the alien ships neared a human settlement on the outskirts of Earth, a miscommunication occurred. The fleet was supposed to conduct a reconnaissance mission, but the leader, Commander Vex, misinterpreted the orders. Believing that they were ordered to intimidate the humans, he activated the weapon systems, preparing for a show of force. Back on Earth, General Carter received reports that the alien fleet was moving dangerously close to a small town. "We cannot let them approach any further," he shouted. "Prepare to engage!" His voice boomed with determination. The military scrambled into action, scrambling fighter jets and positioning defense systems. The town below was peaceful, filled with families and children unaware of the impending danger. Suddenly, the sky darkened as the alien ships hovered overhead. Their metallic forms glinted in the sunlight, casting long shadows on the ground. Panic spread among the townspeople as they looked up in fear. Commander Vex, feeling the tension in the air, gave the order to fire warning shots. "Show them we mean business," he commanded. But instead of a warning, the shot struck the town, creating chaos and destruction. Buildings crumbled, and fires erupted as the sounds of explosions filled the air. Back at the military command center, General Carter watched in shock. "No! They're attacking!" he yelled, his heart pounding. "We have to protect the civilians." He ordered his forces to engage the alien fleet, hoping to shield the town from further destruction. The humans launched their fighter jets into the sky, weapons ready. As the first missiles flew, the alien ships scrambled to respond. The situation had escalated beyond anyone's control. What was meant to be a simple reconnaissance mission had turned into an all-out battle. In the chaos, Zolath learned of the attack through desperate communications from Earth. His heart sank as he realized that this was the very war he had feared. He quickly gathered a small team and raced to the council chamber, hoping to convince the members to intervene. "Council members, we must stop this madness!" Zolath pleaded, breathless from running. "The aliens have attacked a human settlement by mistake. If we do not act now, we will all pay the price." But Krelix and his followers were not convinced. "This is proof that humans are a threat. We should strike harder and show them who is in control," Krelix shouted, rallying his supporters. The council was divided once again, with some pushing for peace and others for war. Meanwhile, back in the town, the battle raged on. Humans fought valiantly, but they were outmatched. Buildings burned, and cries of terror filled the air. Commander Vex realized too late that his actions had sparked a devastating conflict. "What have I done?" he whispered, as he watched the destruction unfold. As the fighting continued, Zolath made a bold decision. "I will go to Earth," he announced. "I will speak to the humans and try to stop the bloodshed. It is our only hope." A few council members agreed, realizing that they needed to take responsibility for the chaos. As Zolath prepared to leave, he felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. He was determined to prevent further destruction and find a way to restore peace. But deep down, he knew that the path ahead would be filled with challenges. The humans were angry, and the council was divided. He hoped he could convince both sides to listen before it was too late. As Zolath set off toward Earth, the battle continued, and the stakes had never been higher. The future of both humanity and the alien races depended on his ability to bring them back from the brink of war. The sound of explosions echoed through the small town as the battle raged on. Smoke filled the air, and the once peaceful streets were now chaos. But amid the fear, a spark of unity began to ignite among the people of Earth. General Carter had made a call to action, urging everyone to come together in the face of the alien threat. "We will not be divided," he shouted over the communication systems, his voice strong and clear. "We are humans, and we will fight for our home. Grab what you can and prepare to defend yourselves." Inspired by his words, citizens rallied to help one another. Neighbors emerged from their homes, bringing whatever weapons they could find: baseball bats, kitchen knives, and old hunting rifles. They formed groups, organizing themselves to protect the vulnerable and defend their town. It was a scene of solidarity, a reminder of the strength that lay within humanity. Meanwhile, in the skies above, the battle continued. Human fighter jets soared through the air, engaging the alien ships in fierce combat. The pilots, fueled by determination and anger, fought bravely. Each dogfight was filled with skill and strategy, but the humans were struggling to hold their ground against the more advanced alien technology. Back on the ground, General Carter worked tirelessly to coordinate the defense. He moved from one group to another, offering guidance and support. "Stay together! Cover each other's backs!" he shouted as he watched teams of civilians organize defensive positions. His heart swelled with pride at the sight of the people coming together. As the fighting raged, news spread across the globe. The attack on Earth united humans like never before. Messages of support flooded in from all corners of the planet. Countries that had long been rivals began to set aside their differences. Citizens were no longer just members of their nations. They were part of a global community united against a common enemy. In the chaos, a local school teacher named Maria took charge of a group of children. "Stay close to me! We are going to find a safe place," she instructed, her voice calm despite the panic around them. She led the children to the basement of the school, where they would be out of harm's way. Why are the aliens attacking us? One little boy asked, his eyes wide with fear. I don't know, Maria replied softly. But we have to be brave. Our people are fighting for us. We will get through this together. As Maria comforted the children, Zolath's ship approached Earth. He felt a mix of hope and dread. He had seen the destruction, and he knew that time was running out. If he did not act quickly, the battle would escalate, and more lives would be lost. He landed just outside the town, near a clearing that was still untouched by the chaos. Gathering his courage, he stepped out of the ship. Zolath knew he had to reach General Carter and convince him that peace was still possible. As he walked toward the sounds of the battle, he spotted a group of civilians, armed and ready. They looked at him with suspicion. Zolath raised his hands to show he meant no harm. I'm Ambassador Zolath. I come in peace, he called out. The humans exchanged worried glances, unsure of whether to trust him. Just then, General Carter emerged from the smoke, his eyes narrowing as he saw the alien ambassador. What do you want? He demanded, raising his weapon. I want to help you, Zolath replied, his voice steady. The attack was a mistake. I want to stop the fighting and find a way for us to communicate. We must not let this war destroy both our races. General Carter hesitated, weighing his options. Behind him, he could see the determination in the eyes of the civilians. They were ready to defend their home, but could they really trust this alien? Let him speak, a voice called from the crowd. It was Maria stepping forward. We need to listen. We cannot fight without understanding. Her courage inspired others, and soon more voices echoed her sentiment. Carter took a deep breath, lowering his weapon slightly. All right, Ambassador, speak. But know that if you betray us, you will face our full wrath. Zolath nodded, relief washing over him. Thank you. Together we can end this conflict. I have a plan that can save both our people. As Zolath began to share his ideas, hope flickered amidst the chaos. Humans were uniting, ready to listen and learn. The path to peace lay ahead, but only if they could put aside their fear and anger long enough to understand one another. As the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the battlefield, tension hung thick in the air. The town was still recovering from the alien attack, but hope had sparked a fire in the hearts of its people. With Ambassador Zolath's help, General Carter and his team had devised a plan to end the conflict and save both races from destruction. However, time was running out, and the alien fleet was still poised for a second strike. Zolath gathered the humans in a makeshift command center. We have to show them that we can work together, he explained. If we can communicate our intentions, we may prevent a war, but we need to be prepared for their response. General Carter nodded. We'll need to send a message to the alien commander. If they see we are serious about peace, they might stand down. The room was filled with determination. The people of Earth had united, ready to defend their home and seek understanding. Meanwhile, aboard the alien flagship, Commander Vex was furious. He had received reports of the human defenses and felt the pressure mounting. His superiors demanded action, and he knew the council was watching closely. We must attack again, he shouted to his officers. Show them our strength! But one officer, a young strategist named Ilana, spoke up. Commander, if we attack again, we risk losing everything. The humans are not our enemies. They are fighting to protect their homes. Perhaps we should listen to the ambassador. Vex's face twisted with anger. You are weak! We will show them the price of defiance! But deep inside, he felt a flicker of doubt. Could there be another way? He glanced at the view screen showing the town below, where the humans were preparing. Back on Earth, Zolath and Carter decided to use the town's communication systems to reach the alien fleet. They transmitted a message, broadcasting it to the skies. This is General Carter of Earth. We do not seek war. We want peace. We ask you to stand down and listen. The message echoed through the air, and Zolath felt a surge of hope. Now, we wait, he said, his voice calm despite the uncertainty. The humans held their breath, eyes fixed on the sky, praying for a response. As the minutes stretched into hours, tension mounted. Commander Vex paced on his ship, torn between his duty and the possibility of peace. Finally, he made a decision. We will respond to their message. If they wish to speak, we will listen. The alien ships turned, moving slowly toward the town. Zolath sensed a shift in the atmosphere. They are coming, he whispered. General Carter felt a mix of anxiety and hope. Suddenly, a transmission came through, and Vex's face appeared on the screen. Humans! You have made your intentions clear. We will meet to discuss terms, he announced. The crowd erupted into cheers, but General Carter remained cautious. "Make sure they understand our terms, Zolath," he urged. "We need guarantees that they won't attack us again." Zolath nodded, determined to bridge the gap between the two races. "I will negotiate. Let us show them the power of cooperation." As the alien ships landed just outside the town, both sides approached each other cautiously. General Carter stood at the forefront, flanked by Zolath and a group of brave civilians. The tension was palpable, but there was a shared hope for peace. Vex stepped forward, flanked by his officers. "You humans have shown strength and unity in the face of adversity. We have much to learn from each other." "Then let's start fresh," Carter replied, extending his hand. "Together, we can ensure that this does not happen again." The two leaders locked eyes, and for the first time, they saw each other not as enemies, but as potential allies. Zolath stepped between them. "Let us create an agreement. A treaty that ensures our people can coexist peacefully. We can share knowledge, resources, and work together for a better future." As they negotiated, the atmosphere shifted. Fear transformed into hope, and the specter of war began to fade. Commander Vex listened intently, realizing that understanding was the key to survival for both races. After hours of discussion, they finally reached a mutual agreement. Both sides would disarm their weapons and focus on communication and cooperation. A treaty was signed, and the first steps toward peace were taken. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the people of Earth and the alien fleet celebrated together. They shared stories, laughter, and a newfound respect for one another. Zolath, Carter, and Vex stood together looking out at the crowd, knowing that they had changed the course of history. The battle was over, but a new journey had just begun. Together, they would face the challenges of the future, united in their resolve to create a brighter tomorrow for all.